you ever want to play a card game and feel just like Thanos?
Thanos is coming. He's coming.
Well, in Alpha Clash, they have probably one of the strongest decks in any TCG that I've ever played, and that is Alpha ASTER.
Who?
And in this video, I'm going to go through my personal deck profile and what I feel is the best way to play ASTER. And at the end of the video, I'm going to show you some combos to get off the loop if you're being buffed at. So, Alpha ASTER, again, if you don't know, I do have a video showing the first build for this, but Alpha ASTER is a 30 cost contender and basically gives you access to almost everything in your deck. So let's go ahead and go right into the deck profile, and this is what I feel, again, is the best way to play Alpha ASTER. We're starting off with 3 copies of Magnate Gamma Charge. It is a 1-cost 1/1 Alpha, green, so that's very, very important, because that's how you get ASTER to do all his best skills, which is when you play green, it gets trigger enter, put a card in your Oblivion, second to the top, and this one is trigger enter, you may activate the portal. This is a key card and probably the best card to start off all your combos. Next up, we're following that up with 4 copies of Magnate Cunning Planner. Now, Cunning Planner is the card that really is causing so much chaos, and I love it so much. It is a 1-cost 1/1 Alpha as well, green, so it gets that amazing skill. And then trigger defeat, you draw 1 card. Then we have 1 copy of Death Overseer in the main board. This is a 1-cost black, and it's a Harbinger card, which then does activate really well with Alpha ASTER. And if it is black, when you play this card, you can choose a card at any player's Oblivion and banish it. Death works really well in this deck because it has a built-in skill where you can send another Clash card to Oblivion and banish another card. Now, if the portal is open, you can then do 2 cards instead of 1. So essentially, with Death Overseer, you can go ahead and banish 3 cards, which is perfect in the Alpha ASTER mirror match. Then we have 1 copy of Pestilence the Infectious, trigger enter, -2/-2 to a card. The portal is closed, you discard a card. But again, we want the portal open, that's why we have Gamma Charged in here. Next up, we do have 1 copy of that nice promo Kickstarter Flare. In here is a 1-cost red, and red after skill allows you to draw a card and discard a card from your hand. And it also has an added skill where you can engage this card and deal damage to another Clash card and or to your opponent's contender. And then moving on to our 2 costs, we have 1 copy of Bad Omen. Bad Omen is here to stop people who are drawing a lot, because with Bad Omen on the field, it's a 2-cost 2/3. Your opponent must pay a resource to draw a card, and that's for each card they draw. So again, if you Lava Blitz them, they'll pay 5 resources to draw those 5 cards. Then we have 1 copy of Apex the Fastest. This is a bound card. It is blue-green. Blue with ASTER allows us to return a Clash card from our Oblivion back to our hand. That's equal or less to the cost of Apex. So again, we can go ahead and recur our 2 costs, our 1 cost, which we have a lot of. So again, if you're in a mirror match and they're trying to banish you, you can get those cards back. Then we have 1 copy of Kilimanjaro. Kilimanjaro is a 2-cost 2/2 Alpha, and it is black-green. So again, we get that green to recur things, and also black to go ahead and banish cards. Moving on to our 3 costs for the deck, we have 1 copy of Clarity from the Shadows. It's a 3-cost 2/2, and then if you engage this card, you can send another Clash card to Oblivion, and also it has that nice effect of, not nice, but kind of a downside. If this card is defeated, you have to send another one of your Clash cards to Oblivion. Then we have 1 copy of Luminous Stalker, which is a white Alpha. Again, then triggers Alpha ASTER, or you play a white, you can go ahead and scry 2. And it also has the add effect. We don't care about the first effect, we care just about that second effect, which is -2 to all your opponent's Clash cards. The next up, we have 2 copies of Magnate Battle Ready. Battle Ready is in here just as a 2/4. Trigger victory, you can reveal the top card of your deck and add a non-Clash card to your hand and put it on the bottom of the deck. Again, we just have this in here because it's 3-cost green, so we can recur things with it. And also that 2/4 stat line is perfect for this deck. Next up, we have 1 copy of Magnate Avenging. It's a green-red bound card, so again, we get the green skill as well as that red skill. Moving on, we do have 1 copy of Pestilence. This is the 4-cost exclusive, 0/4. It gets +1 for each card in your hand. And if you have 3 or less, you can go ahead and draw an additional card. And And then you have 7 or more cards in your hand, greater than the target clash card you control at the end of your turn. That skill does not come up. Again, we're doing this to just push damage, put this into our resource with our weapon, and then to go ahead and recur one of our either low-cost card or the 4-cost cards, which we do have in War, where it's trigger enter, and you activate the portal, create 2 red minion tokens. And we also have just the greatest card from set 1. It's just a nice vanilla. It's a 4-cost T-Bone 5/4, which again works very, very well with that blue skill, where we're able to recur cards back from our Oblivion that are 4 or less. Moving on to our 5-cost, same thing where we run the Genesis in here is a 5-cost. So again, we can recur cards that are 5 or less. And also we're able to draw and discard a card. And it's a bound card, so it does give us access to blue and red in our resource zone. And we have 2 copies of Magnate the Tyrant. Magnate the Tyrant is 5-cost 5/3 flight. And then when you play this card, you can go ahead and send an accessory to Oblivion. And then also add a skill where your other Alpha Clash card you control get +1 until the end of turn. Then we have 2 copies, only 2, of Magnate Full of Rage. Full of Rage is a 5-cost 4/3. We're only using it because of its skill to reduce Magnate cards in our hands by 1 green pip. So we can play out cards a lot easier, like Cunning Planner, like Gamma Charge. Then we have 2 copies of Magnate Lone Fighter. This is a 6-cost, and when it's alone by itself, it gets +4/+4, and it has flight. So again, if the opponent does not have flight or intercept, this card is swinging over everything, and you can get it to 8/8, which is amazing. And then 2 copies of Kagan the Dragon. This is a 6-cost on enter. You go ahead and send a target clash card to Oblivion. Also has flight, that 5/5. And there's some more of our 6 costs that we have in here, which are just one-ofs. We have 1 copy of Flare. Flare is a 6-cost, 6 attack, 6 defense. And trigger attack, you deal 2 damage to all of the clash cards, and it has flight as well. Then we have 1 copy of Death Endbringer, which is a 6-cost 4/5. I love to end my turn on this card, because at the start of your opponent's turn, they must send a clash card. And at the beginning of your turn, if the portal's open, you can bring back a card from your Oblivion. And as a Harbinger, it gets +2/+2 and Neurotic. Now, rounding out all of our clash cards, we do run none other than Alpha ASTER. Again, this is an ASTER deck, so why not play this one? It is our legendary for the deck. It is an 8-cost, and when it has 9/9, and when it comes in, it wipes the board completely, and then both opponents are able to play an Alpha Clash card from their deck to play. Again, having a 9/9 is amazing. So that is it for our Clash cards. Now, getting into more of our support, again, we do run a lot of Clash cards in this deck. So for our support, we have 1 copy of Give and Take. Give and Take is here to fix our hand, so we get cards that we don't want in our hand that we cannot play. We can discard them, use green, recur them back to the deck, and then play them out later. So again, this card lets you draw 2 and then discard 2, and your opponent must discard a card and draw a card. Again, if you have bad Omen out, they can't draw that card unless they pay that resource. 1 copy of Magnate's Plan. This is in here just to be able to get rid of other accessories that we don't want in the field. 1 copy of Lefty Last Stand, and then 1 copy of Destroyed Presence. These cards are exactly the same. I just didn't want to look for my other copy of Lefty Last Stand. So both of these do is a 2-cost counter quick, so you play it from your hand, and you need to prevent all damage from that clash. Then we have 2 copies from Life to Death. From Life to Death is a 5-cost, but you can reduce it by 4 black pit by just playing 4 life, thus making it a 1-cost. And when your opponent attacks, you can send any card that's 5 or less to Oblivion. Then you have to banish this card once it's done resolving. 2 copies of Shocking Revelation. Shocking Revelation is another card that's a board wipe, so if I have no cards on my field, my opponent must send all their clash cards. Then I take a peek in their hand, send a card from their hand to the bottom of the deck, and then also if the portal's open, I can draw a card. So that is our actions in the deck. Again, we run very low count because we can use green to recur all those actions back. But we are running 2 copies of New York City. This card works very well with our alphas in the deck. It gives alphas +2 and flight. The trigger enter, you draw a card. Only 2 copies of a Clash card in this deck. Next up, we're playing the best card in the entire game. 4 copies of Accelerator of Sorts. This is a contender weapon, so it can only be attached to Alpha ASTER, and it's a 1-cost. And what you can do is you can go ahead and engage your contender, take one of your alphas and or harbingers, which our whole deck is, put into our resource, and then play a card from our deck that is a cost equal to or less than. but that card gets observant, meaning it cannot attack that turn. This card, again, gives you nice resource on your flip through your deck and get cards that you need for any situation. And last but not least, we run 3 copies of our Clash buff. Not 4, just only 3. So that way we can fit other cards in here, which is Sadistic Strategy. And this card is if your opponent attacks or obstructs, you can go ahead and put that card into their resource zone, get rid of it completely. I feel like Sadistic Strategy is a great buff to have, and it's even better in the mirror match. And then right now we have our sideboard, which is going to be an extra copy of Pestilence. And then we have a copy of Warcry, Faithful Protector. A copy of the Black Shadow Light. This card makes every card go to 2/2. Then we have Genesis Oppressor, which is a nice 6 cost, 6/5, so it's a great body to have out. And then we have next copy from Death to Life. This allows us to get rid of cards in our field and then also be able to bring that stuff from our Oblivion. 1 copy of Here Comes the Boom to clear out the board. It's another Shock Revelation, but again, this is where I want to go ahead and deal 5 damage. Everything is very good to clear stuff out. 2 copies of Deafening Sound Wave. This card has 2 effects where you can either make your opponent discard a card, but I like using it for the secondary effect, which is your opponent can only launch 1 more attack this turn. Again, this card works very, very well in the mirror match and also gets any kind of rush war decks or any rush Alpha Hunter decks where they can launch 1 attack. After that, again, I like to counter this up with using things like, Lefty's Last Stand, negate that damage. They can deal only 1 more attack. So it stops your turn and allows me to go ahead and survive and win on my next one. And then we have 1 extra copy of Magnet's Plan if needed for heavy accessory decks. Now, let me go ahead and get into the combo to show you how to play out of if someone buffs you when you're trying to win with the dreaded loop. All right, perfect. So first we're going to do is show you how to get the perfect mulligan and what you're looking for in your starting hand and how to start off when you're playing Alpha ASTER. So I would say the biggest 3 cards that you want to have in your hand no matter what is any card that gives you a blue resource. You mandatory to have Gamma Charge and mandatory to have Accelerator of sorts. This right here will start your combo off perfectly. Now the other 5 cards in your hand, I say they're just all fun, but these 3 cards are the most important. It is a blue card, your Accelerator, and Gamma Charge. So again, how your turn would go in a perfect world: 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. We will always start off with playing our blue card first, so that way we can go right into our Accelerator. Our opponent's turn. Right now, there's no way to get rid of Accelerator, so this card is perfect. And then when it comes back to our turn, we'll draw up. We'll go ahead and put 1 of our extra Gamma Charges right there in the resource. And then we'll go ahead and play Gamma Charge. And then we'll immediately go ahead and activate the portal. That part is very, very important with this deck. And then we'll go ahead and pay 1 to attach that Accelerator. And then we'll use Accelerator to throw Gamma Charge into here. And then you can grab either cards that you want to. This card part is very, very perfect. If your opponent has a card out, you want to get rid of it, you can go ahead and play Pestilence. But for this demonstration, we're going to go ahead and grab out our 1-cost Flare so we can go ahead and proc the red skill. And the reason why we're doing that is what I said before, is you want to have some cards to fix your hand and get cards that you want back in your deck. And that's because we have the 6-cost Death. We're not going to hard cast this. We want it back in our deck. So again, once Flare is played, we can draw 1 card and discard a card, which is that Flare. So your opponent's next turn, at this point, they're going to go ahead and try to do everything they possibly can to go ahead and get rid of your Accelerator. So let's say they go ahead and pop our Accelerator. Our Accelerator is gone. They think we're sad. That's perfectly fine. We're still good because we have 3 resources where your opponent's only at 2. Now, when it goes back to your turn, and this is where, again, to keep tempo going. We'll go ahead and play another 1 of our blue resources down. Tap 1. Play another Accelerator. Tap 1. We'll attach that Accelerator. We'll go ahead and ping our opponent for 1. And then we'll go ahead, drop the Flare in. And then now we can go ahead and drop a Pestilence down. -2/-2 from something. And the biggest part is we're going to go ahead and return either our Accelerator or our death. Let's go ahead and bring Accelerator back. And then we go ahead and play a Gamma Charge to prop that next green to put death back. And now we're really good going into our opponent's turn. So again, if we want to go ahead and sacrifice our Petulance, we can draw an extra card off of that, which gives us Sadistic, and it goes back to our turn. So now we are on turn 3. We have 5 nice resources. We're going to go ahead and draw back into that death. So again, we have cards to just filter out and discard easily. And we can go ahead and put in the Battle Ready. We can go ahead and accelerate away that Gamma Charged. And we can start building our push. So we'll go ahead and grab our Cunning Planner. And then return Cunning Planner to get Petulance back in. And then now, this card has Observant. We have nice resources up. We can go ahead and play the Magnet if we want to. We can go ahead and keep it up so we can use Sadistic. So again, we're in a good drive start. We have a nice sized hand. And then our board is set up to be able to play the game of Alpha Clash without relying on the loop. But now, let me go ahead and show you how we can continue this and go ahead and get that loop and play through if our opponent goes to try to buff us. All right, perfect, guys. So this is the best way to play through if your opponent is going to go ahead and buff you to try to stop your loop. But we don't care about that because we want to go ahead and loop to victory. Best way to do this is by having at least, how many do I have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yeah, that's perfect. 9 resources is the best way to pull this off. So for starters, you need to also have a Lone Fighter in your Oblivion. You need to have Full of Rage on your board at the start of your turn. You want to have access to all of your resource. So again, there's a lot of things that go into this. You got to make sure to survive. But I can even show you a way how to get this card back if something happens to it. So first thing we're going to do is go ahead and play that Cunning Planner for free, which then procs to put Lone Fighter second from the top. And then we'll go ahead and swing in. We're thinking we're in the clear. We're going to go ahead and win this game out. And our opponent hits us with a buff going to 2-1. Our card dies and deals no damage. So we draw a card off of that defeat. So next thing we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and tap to 3. So we can go ahead and play out our New York City. New York City is another key card to have in this because it gives all of our alphas +2 and flight. So now we have that card, we can go ahead and draw. Now we have the Lone Fighter in hand. Next thing we do, say if they find a way to go ahead and get rid of our Magnate. Magnate is gone. They have a buff out. How are we going to play through that? Very easily, actually. We'll go ahead and tap 6, play the Lone Fighter. We're going to return the Full of Rage. And then we'll take Lone Fighter to swing for 10. So we have no cards out. They'll take a nice heaping amount of damage. And once that's done, we'll go ahead and Accelerator to bring back out Full of Rage. Now that Full of Rage is back, it has survived being destroyed. It has survived hitting the buff. And then we can go ahead and take that Cunning Planner, put it second to the top, and we can go ahead and continue our combo with playing another Cunning Planner. Right now we have nothing to return. That's fine. So we're going to go ahead and swing for 3. It's still going to deal 2 damage. It dies. We draw a card. We play out another one to return that Cunning Planner and attack for 3. And we are successfully in the loop. And this is the perfect way to play through getting buffed and having your Full of Rage defeated. And all you need is 9 resources, a Lone Fighter, and New York City. If you like this demonstration, let me know in the comment section down below. And are you going to play ASTER at your next event? I know I am.
I step into the ring, ready for the fight. With a hunger in my eyes, I'm taking flight. I walk with confidence, I wear the crown. Ain't no one gonna knock me down. I'm the Alpha.